Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And it's been a couple weeks since I've done a garden update, so I better get to it. We've had a lot going on and the weather's been kind of off and on, and I know tomorrow it's going to rain again, so I thought I better get out here and shoot this video so I can get it up right away so you can see what's happening and what's been happening for the past couple weeks around here. So let's get to it. Well, right here is our old wood stove. I mean, I'm talking old, and this is where I like to grow some of my pansies and stuff, and they're not very full right now. We keep getting these going from really warm days to then really cold nights, and every time we have a cold night, it slows everything down. So you see here, I got some petunias and kind of some old blooms on here, but I got a picture I'll show you right here what it looks like when they got big fresh blooms on it, but I pick them off and eat them every so often, so those are edible just like the pansies and the violas. And I wanted to show you real quick this pretty solar light that my son and his girlfriend got me for Mother's Day. So all these little things light up in here, so it's at night, so it's really pretty. So I got that here in my pot that I've got some beans coming up out of. And those beans will climb up that and then all the way up there and then across that chain. See, so some of that right up there is that chain that I got from my hanging pots. And then as for the hanging pots, right now they don't need them around my potatoes out front anymore, so I've got them over the pots that I have low to the ground to help keep the chickens from getting into the pots. It doesn't keep their heads out, but it keeps them from climbing in there and scratching it all up like they were doing over here. And that's why there's this big mess here. And so some of them, this has even got bird netting because I'm trying to grow some more calendula in there, and they got into that and into this blueberry right here and just got dirt all over the place, and so I haven't swept it up yet. But anyway, this is doubled over with the pots. That keeps their heads out, and there's another one there. Blueberries are coming along nicely. You can see here, I'm getting fruit on there now. So it won't be long. They'll be turning blue, and I'll be picking the berries off there. And the grapevines, they're really behind this year. But again, I know it's because of this weird going back and forth. Like right at the moment, it's really warm. But when I first got up this morning, it was really cold. I see a cluster of grapes right there forming. So, wow. Usually I don't start seeing those until I have a lot more leaves on there. But it could be too, because the leaves are so far behind that, you know, it's starting to put the grapes out. But anyway, yeah, there's all the blueberries. I got 6 plants in all. Got a couple of calendulas doing okay down in here. And this is that gooseberry. And here's the weird thing. I mean, the thing is just, it's so full that it's starting to hang over. But I didn't get any berries on it. I did find one berry right there. That's it. So the funny thing was when we got it, it was really scraggly looking. But it was probably about a quarter of the size when we got it in the fall last year. But it had some berries on there. Well, now it's way healthier than it was, but I only see one little berry on there. So I don't know. Maybe it has to do with transplanting it a couple of times. And if I leave it in there till next year, I'm sure it will probably get me some more berries next year. One of my currants. You see, it's got pretty loaded with berries. All my currant plants, I have, 4 of them? They've all got berries on them and are coming along real nice. So I got all those last year. And then the main garden is, it's kind of a mess. Having a heck of a time keeping up on the grass and the weeds coming up. But I've got corn coming up out there. I've got sorghum. It's all real small right now, so it's not much to look at. But these bushier things right here, these are my marshmallows. I only saved 3 of the older marshmallows back here. I used to have more where it filled up this whole area, but eventually dug them out because they shade so much stuff. And then managed to move a few things over. Like right there is a golden oregano start. This is a small one that I found somewhere else that I didn't have to buy this year. Anyway, echinacea. I got some bok choy that it looks a little sad right now because I just transplanted it out here, but it'll bounce back. There's a couple more right there. I started those in the greenhouse, and so they're transplanted out here, so they're just starting to snap back out of it. And then that right there is an echinacea I grew this year from seed that I saved from last year. And that right there is one of my valerians. This is all spearmint down here. And then I'm letting for the most part, letting my kale all go to seed. That's what you see going on here, all these flowers. And I'm planning on, usually I don't bother saving the kale seed because I just let it do its thing. But this year I'm going to save some in case people are interested in buying. This is the Russian red kale. When it comes to kale, it's my favorite kind. The potatoes, just like the grapes, are really behind, and that's because we had a late frost. They had started growing, and then it froze them, and then they died back. But the potatoes over there that I didn't plant this year, that just coming up from last year, are actually doing really good. And then here's some peas we're starting to utilize my chain here. Coming up out of this pot. My lettuces and stuff along the side are doing pretty good, but just like everything else, they're just way behind. Last year I would have been, I would say about a month behind on the way everything looks. But the odd thing is the tomatoes. The tomatoes are farther ahead for me than they usually are. So let me just remind you, if you're new to my channel and don't know this, though I start my tomatoes from seed early, and about half of these were started from seed from tomatoes I grew last year, and the other half are new ones, like these right here. All these right here are new to me this year that I bought from Baker Creek. So this is the black vernissage. I got 3 different black tomatoes here. Black vernissage and then the black brandywines. I'm really excited about these. But you can see some flowers coming on there. And see that one's a purple. That one is, I don't know the variety for sure. It could be a Cherokee. But anyway, it was from seed I saved last year. I still have tomatoes. They look real small because they're still in pots because I don't know what to do with them. Kind of wait. I just feel like the nights are still too cold for me to move any tomato plants outside, except for the ones I moved. I did try again moving some just right outside there. Then over here I've got, these are the Costolutos that I saved from last year. These are a small but very intensely flavored tomato, just an amazing flavor. And then this is the black Japanese ones that I liked so much last year. I bought the original plant last year at the homesteading fair and then saved the seeds from the tomatoes I grew from that, and that's where those came from. These are all the Romas, the Rio Grande Romas that I'm growing here, seed that I saved from last year. So I guess more than half of these are actually my own seed. So anyway, what I was going to say is even though I start my plants indoors, my tomato plants, I do not use added heat. Like I don't use any heating pads. I do not use any kind of special light. Just the light that comes in from their south-facing window and the heat from the wood stove. That's not too awful far away from it. So the tomatoes are one of the things that are just doing really, really good. Squash starts. I know it doesn't look like much there. It's because I've already transplanted some outside. Same thing with the cucumbers. So some of them I've transplanted over here. I've got 3 peach melons right there. That's the cilantro and some weeds I still need to pull. That I just let the cilantro seed itself. It always seems to be healthiest for me when I do that and just leave it alone. And these are lemon cucumbers, and these are some kind of tender something or other cucumber here, these 2. And that's some bok choy, somewhere I had the bok choy growing. I see 1 lettuce back in there, but a little at a time I've been moving these out and still trying to get all these lady thumbs, and thank you for the person who let me know. Now that the plants are big enough, and I still don't know what the name of these are. This is not chickweed. Several people tried to say it was chickweed. Nope, I know what chickweed is, and that is not it. These actually get yellow flowers. Now somebody called this popweed. Well, when I tried to look it up, all I kept coming across was cannabis. And this is not cannabis, I'm telling you. So I still don't know what kind of weed this is, but some people might call it popweed because it pops up quickly. I keep pulling all this stuff up and it just keeps popping up everywhere. So to me it seems like an apropos name, but when I tried to look it up online, I could not I could not find anything that looked like this because everything I came across just talked about cannabis. Go ahead and take you over to the peppers, even though they're kind of just starting to look good again. They just went completely stagnant. Didn't do anything for weeks. And now they're just starting to grow. The healthiest looking ones are these ones, which are my Chinese 5-color. So these might be the ones that just produce the best for me. We'll see. Last year my Marconis did really good, but this year, especially these 3 right here, they're really sad looking. They've just been sitting at this size for about 3 weeks. I don't know what this one is. It came up in a pot that I didn't have marked, like a seed that must have fallen in there, so I set it up there by itself. Right here, aside from all the little weeds I'm still trying to get out in grass, this is a purple basil, and then I've got, I think this is Emily basil, I hope. Emily basil is my favorite, growing in here. And there's the grapefruit, and this is the garden huckleberry. I've already transplanted a few of these outside. Decided to go ahead and use up the last of my ashwagandha seed and try a 3rd time to see if I can get ashwagandha to do anything for me. It'll grow fine, but then it never comes back the next year. I never get really anything off of it. All right, and over here to my squash patch. Every single one of these potatoes, because this used to be my potato patch, all of these. I didn't plant a single one of these. In fact, I've moved quite a few of the potatoes out because anything that's been trying to grow up on this side, I've had to move out because this is where I grow my squash. So you can see I recently transplanted a lot of these out here. So this is the Cherokee tan, and something's eating at it. I just noticed. Dang it. And at that bean, it's probably slugs. Yeah, because the chickens can't get in here anymore to get to the slugs. So yeah. Some more beans, and let's see, which one do we got here? This one is, okay, this is the pippin. I keep forgetting the full name of it. Pippin is the name I remember the most. I do have some more in the greenhouse. These 3 here are the cushaw, and these 2 are the orange butternut. I didn't actually plant any of my green tomatillos this year. I've just been moving them as they've been popping up and trying to make kind of a row across here. I have to get them back far enough that because the chickens stick their head through this to get worms and stuff out of here, and I'm trying to keep them from digging those up. So I just move them back there, but got a couple beans. I don't know why the beans here, well, I know what it was. These were the rattlesnake beans I initially had planted here, and they didn't do anything, so that's why this is bare. So then I went back later and planted some more of my runner beans, and that's what you see popping up there. These here, you can tell by the stem color, these are the purple potted pole beans, and then the rest of these beans are all my runner beans that I like so much. I do have some purple tomatillos. I have 4 only 4 that I'm going to be planting out here on this end. Now I'll take you over here to the chicken yard. We've got the chicks out in this main area, but we've kind of enclosed this kind of this rinky-dink throw together thing I've got for them so that during the day they can be out here. There they are. If it starts raining, I threw a couple of those polycarbonate pieces down there, so if it starts raining they have a dry place to hang out. They go in the coop at night, they don't stay out here. And then I just threw these sticks up here, and these guys, they fly all the way up to this. And so I've had to put in bird netting everywhere to keep them contained. They're just too little for me to let them run loose yet, because right now they're still the size that Cody sees them as prey. Hi, cheeky birds. Hello, girls. And for those who are new, these are the black sex links. So really, really growing. And then in here, I've made them this piece here. This is just another chunk of polycarbonate. It looks dirty. It's because I left the clear plastic on there and it's been in Pat's shop. But I just had to bring this out to slide over to this area because behind here, there is that trap that initially, this was the cage I put them in with bird netting around it when they were real little. And that's sitting on top of the live trap that I moved them in so that once they got too big for this. And then when they got too big for that, I opened this up and then added this in. Well, then yesterday they started getting up on this and getting out. So what I had to do is grab this piece of Lexan and put it in there, because at this point I can't let them run free in this area here. I am not ready to incorporate them with the other chickens. And by the way, that right there is another broody one. And I can't use my little brooding cage for her right now. So, oh, look at you. You just finished laying an egg. Look at us. We just happened to catch you in the act. But anyway, I can't let the chicks run out here because the bigger chickens have to be able to get in and out of here to do what they're doing right now. So, because we leave this gate open all the time during the day. So right now the big chickens have free reign of this area, little chickens that area, but the big chickens get the whole entire backyard, which never seems to be enough for them. And I can't let them in the front yard anymore because they've all figured out they can get through that other fencing. So until we get around to electrifying that fencing, or just get new fencing, they have to stay in the back. Okay, so flyby again of the herb garden. So here's my horseradish doing pretty good, flowering all over the place. Feverfew, catnip, sage. For whatever reason, this side of the sage is really sad looking, but I have a feeling it's going to snap back out of it. I keep pruning it back. I might just cut all this dead stuff off and see what happens. Peppermint, rosemary, woolly lamb's ear, mojito mint, lavender, whoops. Elderberry, oregano, more lavender, elderberry, and this is my biggest elderberry right here. There's a white rose back there, orange mint, yarrow, more sage, more feverfew, another marshmallow, more catnip, a random potato that's coming up. I was doing an experiment last year, and of course you always seem to miss some, so more potatoes coming up. Another echinacea and currant. It's a thin plant, but it's got a lot, I mean, it's not as full as like this one over here, but it's got a lot of berries forming on it. So currant, pansies, thyme. Here's my valerian getting ready to flower. Very exciting. I actually collected some leaves off here because I found out that, yes, I finally remembered to look it up. Yes, the leaves are usable. They have their own medicinal benefits that are similar to the roots, not as strong, not as powerful, but if you're growing valerian and you're wanting to let it establish and let the roots continue to grow, you can still use the leaves. So, and this wild geranium that just keeps popping up everywhere that, yes, has medicinal benefits, but it goes crazy. So I try to keep it just to this outside edge of this area. There's another thyme right there. The only reason it looks the way it does like here is because yesterday I came out, or day before yesterday, and just hacked a bunch off of this and all the other thymes and got them dehydrated up. And then these marshmallow plants, I've got 3 of them here right now that are this size. These ones I'm starting to I'm going to try to keep these shorter this year and not let these, because they'll get to 10 feet tall. And I don't want these ones over here getting that tall, so I'm just going to keep them cut down. So I'm harvesting the leaves off these already. And you can't tell, but I did cut a bunch off of, I don't think I cut any off that, but off of this one and off of this one. Cut a bunch off of there. And then this was a marshmallow, I think I started from seed or just a root cutting that I put out here either this year or last year. I don't recall. Okay, my Japanese maple is looking beautiful. And a golden oregano that I bought, and then little starts I made from another plant. And then you can see my herb garden here. I've got sage, oregano, more peppermint. I decided that lavender right there, that looks really sad. I was thinking about tossing it because decided I wanted to pull it out of the main garden bed to make more room. And it didn't look very happy. I'm not sure what happened to that one this year, but I see new life on it, so I decided to stick it in there and see how it did. I'm guessing it may be like the rosemary and the sage. It may not have liked the horse manure that we put on it. Certain herbs do not like such a rich compost. So you got to be careful with them because it's like they just don't like it at all. But anyway, you can't tell yet, but other than the grass that keeps coming up, I did plant some beets and some of the broom sorghum right in here. And then the potatoes out here are looking pretty good. And the rhubarb's looking so-so. But the stinging nettle back there has been going berserk. I keep coming out here and harvesting off it, and it just keeps going, but that's what stinging nettle does. Okay, right here, look at this. This is comfrey. This is my oldest plant. It's got bird poo all over it because it's under the tree. I'm growing it around, this is our peach tree right here. And unfortunately the robins like to sit up here and poop all over it. But anyway, I have been washing this stuff off really good and then spraying it down with vinegar and washing it good. And this is what I've been dehydrating for using, for eventually I'm going to create a healing salve out of it. So here's look at how pretty these flowers are. Bumblebees absolutely love the comfrey flowers. And then my quince tree has some of the flowers that have already died. This one here is just opened up, but it did get blossoms. I think I'm actually going to get some quince off this year, so that's pretty exciting. I can hardly wait. I haven't eaten a quince since I was about 14 years old. So yeah, I don't think I'll get any fruit off of any of the other fruit trees that we have out front. The cherry did get a couple of blossoms towards the bottom, but I don't think I'll see any fruit off that. This is our old established apple tree. I almost forgot about this. I always walk right by it and forget about it, but you can see it's got, the lighting's terrible, sorry. Anyway, it's got apples all over the place. Let's see if I can get a better image here. Get all them little apples coming on. We're going to have more apples than what we know what to do with. We had more apples than we knew what to do with last year. And now not only do we have all these apples, this tree's going berserk with apples, but we've got all those apple trees over at the property. Wow, we're going to need some people to give apples to. All right, well, that's my garden update for this week. And, being that I'm like 2-3 weeks behind now. So anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll try to keep you more up to date on what's going on in the garden so you can see the progress as it comes along. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.